Greetings, YouTube, and a very happy New Year's Eve from the state of Texas, the Lone Star State. I am very thankful because for the first time in 5 years, I am with both my brothers getting ready to celebrate the end of a year. Prof. Box and his lovely wife got here last night, and I've been staying, of course, in Prof. Hulk's house for a couple weeks. So, all of this is to say, I have a lot in my mind, and it's been really nice because a lot of times I just leave my phone in the car or I don't take it out of a bag, and I have been taking a break from the Line app and the game in general. So if you haven't had a response to a question in a few hours or even a couple of days, please know I'm not trying to be taking it personally. I'm just actually trying to pretend like I have a life outside this game for a couple days and spend time with family that I don't get to see, but maybe once or twice a year, and certainly just once or twice a decade, do we all get to be in the same place. And Prof. Box and his wife are expecting their first child, and so for those of you who have children, you know, once that happens, your life changes, and it also becomes a little bit harder and certainly more logistical to travel. So, that is an opening spiel to this video. But I received this screenshot from, I don't know, at least 10 people in the past 24 hours, and since a bunch of people were talking about it, I wanted to make a video on it because, of course, it is about something that is really, really important, and that is all the speculation given the information on the Chinese MCOC server or patch or whatever you want to call it, and then on top of that, we have a discussion about whether or not great champs like Cole and Namor are going to be quote-unquote nerfed. So, Kabam Porthos, I'm saying that, probably butchering it. I don't even know this person existed until this post. I usually, of course, just expect the OG Kabam Mike to make all these kind of posts. But as we stated in this announcement, we've delayed the process of updating any recently released champions until February 2020. Any changes we consider making from that point onward will be small ones which won't affect the champion's abilities or desirability in the contest. No champion will be buffed, and no champion will be nerfed, as those terms imply a much larger change than what we're planning for any of the champions we review or alter during this process. With that being said, any changes we do plan to implement in the future will be shared with you all in advance. In addition to the data which is influencing these changes and our decisions, so you can understand why we feel such changes are required. As we also mentioned in the announcement linked above, we will have more information to share with you in January. So I have a lot of thoughts about this post. I don't want this video to even come close to 10 minutes long, so I'll do my best to articulate them in the next 2 to 3 minutes. But basically, here's the bottom line for me. I feel like Kabam is taking this position right now that because the community is not willing to accept anything close to a nerf of the best champions, then they're also going to take a stand by not majorly buffing the champions that desperately need it. Two can play at this game. But the other thing is, I feel like the whole point of what they call rebalancing in the best way in terms of lifting champions and making them much better, like Colossus and Venom, for example, or Red Hulk, champions that after the beta test buff are so much more fun to play with and so much more fun and exciting to pull, for that matter. It's about enjoying the game more. And so what this also tells me when they say they're collecting data is that that's the data that they should be collecting while they test new champs long before they actually release them into the game. Kabam came out in 2019 and talked about how they maybe had made a mistake in the past and rushed champions out too fast, so they actually made a separate announcement talking about how on the second and fourth weeks of each month we would see a new champion come out, which was different because some months we got 3, some months we got 2, this month we got 1. But the bottom line is it was supposed to give them more time to test out champions, which does a couple things. Hopefully makes it to where they can't say that a champion is not quote-unquote working as intended, But the other thing is, it's not relying on YouTube and Reddit and the forums to do their job and see how OP a champion really is. And in their minds, the thing they're worried about most, that a champion is taking away money from them because they are clearing content too easily without having to use potions or revives or units. Now, if Kabam was smart, they would just continue to put out more BS cash grab nodes that nerfed those champions' best abilities on certain fights, but it's a node, so as long as the champion still does what the champion does, it's hard for the community to complain, because we've seen that since, golly, I remember when Safeguard first came in the game. I'm like, what the heck is this BS? But, it's a node. They control the game, so you have to get around it and maybe rank up a champion that is unique to take out that node that you wouldn't before. That's part of the reason why I got so good with Quake, at least when I could parry, because Safeguard was one of those few nodes that unless you had like a, I don't know, maxed out Black Widow, especially pre-patch 12.0, you couldn't get around it. And so, yeah, nodes, especially if some champions become more valuable than others, because they actually get you better at the game, and they don't touch the champions in your roster. But the minute you change the mechanics of the champion, you really are altering the product that you paid for, particularly after the game has introduced featured Cavalier crystals that make you spend thousands of dollars to have a better chance at landing the champion, unless you want to spend thousands and thousands of units to land the champion in the arena. So, once again, I think Kabam has received so much feedback, and I'm guessing it's negative feedback, regarding Namor and Cole's names showing up, that they're saying, okay, fine, we're not going to nerf these champions, but we're also not going to be buffing the ones that we were excited to make better. But at the same time, who really knows? I still take the belief that the quote-unquote rebalancing program should only be used to buff champs, not to nerf any, unless there is a legitimate argument that they're not working properly in some like extreme scenario, like what they've been able to justify with when they tweaked Gwenpool a little bit. But otherwise, it's up to the testers to work out the kinks before they release the champions in the game. Because once they do that, and once they're taking people's money to land the champion, they have forfeited the right to say that they're going to make that champion worse, because it is now a product on the actual assembly line of monetary compensation for their company. So there you have it, YouTube. Thanks to everybody who sent this screenshot along, and thank you to everybody in general for supporting my channel. In all of 2019, I'd originally wanted to take some time over the holiday to kind of make the best hits for my Crystal Luck, and maybe I still will at some point because I love doing those videos, and it's actually been like 2 years since I did one, but I haven't had the time, and I'd rather spend time with family than be on my computer making a YouTube video, because, family is pretty important. And so are you, YouTube. So if you're watching this, no matter where you are, Happy New Year to you. And again, thank you so much for being a part of my channel. I cannot believe how much it has grown this year, and it's thanks to incredible support from amazing people like yourself.